company's based out of here in the United States, California, San Jose, California.
Okay.
Started.
It says founded in 2011. I had no
2011,
idea.
right. Lead engineer from Cisco Systems, and his collaboration business unit, WebEx. It goes on explaining about how the company is basically grew. It really focused at first on meetings, video conferencing for businesses.
Yeah.
This is solely a business tool they went into. As I proceeded to read on, they even had in 2017 a Zoom hosted a Zoomtopia in 2017, the first annual user conference. So they basically got
Zoomtopia? That
yeah,
sounds
they
so
basically
dumb.
yeah.
Zoomtopia.
Well, this 2017 puts it in the when you had the VidCons and
Yeah. No,
all
fair enough.
those announce it. I'm reading here. Let's see. Zoom announced a series of new products and partnerships, including Zoom partnership with Meta to integrate Zoom with augmented reality integration with Slack and Workplace from Facebook, and first steps towards an artificial intelligence speech to text converter. So they started working with other companies. 2019, they followed to go public at NASDAQ. And on April 18th of 2019, the company went public and its shares up more than 72% with an initial public offering of $36 a share. So obviously now this is a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
It goes on, mentions about now coronavirus, and in early 20s, usage of Zoom increased sharply as schools and companies adopted a platform to work remote work. And in response to the novel corona, why do you call it novel corona pandemic? It's not a novel. It's to me novel.
Novel, but so when they say novel, they mean new, like a new version of the coronavirus.
Okay. Rise 67% from the start of the year to mid-March. So they had a 67% increase in usage. Basically goes on and different, how Zoom is now becoming a more of a social, a little bit more socially than versus a company for the business. Now, as I mentioned in our notes, though, they're no angel. They've had issues. One of them was Zoom bombing. Zoom bombing is the practice of participants unsuspectingly sent pornographic or other offensive material to their attendees.
Did you see that one story? Was it Zoom? I think it was Zoom in a classroom. Some guy guessed the login to one of these like classroom setting Zoom videos, and I think he was just naked completely, and it was to a bunch of kids who were like 8 or 9 years old.
That's not good.
Yeah, part of when I first read the title, I kind of smirked at it, and then I didn't realize that they were to like a bunch of children, and I was like, oh my god, like that's a huge issue. And I don't know how they guessed, or maybe whoever made the Zoom meeting just made the password or room name, or how. I haven't actually used Zoom, so I have no idea how it works.
Right.
I'm kind of behind when it comes to that, because honestly, I've been using StreamYard for everything lately. I just feel like it works really well.
But for what would you have used it if you were in a business, own a business? Would you have used StreamYard to do this?
Well, no, because obviously, this works a little differently. I don't know. So I know you have this in the show notes too, but I think people that I know, friends that I know who have worked remote and who do some remote work before this whole pandemic, they were already using Teams. Before I quit my job in LA, we were using Skype, which is funny because it was such an antiquated piece of software, which also I know I saw were in the show notes, but I was trying to get my team to stop using Skype and to start using more things like Discord and use things like Slack.
Telegram, I think Telegram does it have a desktop before
What? A
for
desktop
video?
app?
No, desktop video for video chat.
They do have video chat, but I've never really used it for multiple like
Mm-hmm.
multi-conferencing chat. So
Right.
anyway, go
So,
ahead.
it goes on and mentions also security. Security. Zoom uses a client-side advanced encrypted standard, 256-bit.
That's just a lot of big jargon, technical jargon there. Either way, they got hacked,
They
right?
got hacked. Right.
And I'm
Right.
looking here at this. I mean, I know you were talking about Zoom bombing, and where we're talking about unexpectedly appearing in conferences and sending pornography. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at this Chipotle Grill here. Chipotle Grill, for example, abandoned use of Zoom for its Chipotle Together events and migrated to another platform. Did they do that because they got hacked? I don't know. I wonder what they use now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Don't forget Chipotle did go through a time where they had bad food, were getting
oh
people
yeah,
sick.
yeah.
So maybe part of the reorganization and try and get that squared away. Also, I mean, trust me, it could have been also other reasons. I mean, here we're talking 2018. They also talked in 2019. Security researcher Jonathan disclosed a
Yeah.
0-day vulnerability, allowing any website to be forcibly join a Mac OS user in a Zoom call. So, I mean, I was like I said again, they're no angel. They obviously have their problems.
Again, there's a big part of me that I need to test it out, but I don't
Mhm.
work in a corporate setting. I'm not saying that it's only used
I
for a
want to
corporate
break your
setting.
stones right now.
Huh?
Nothing.
Oh, because I don't work in a corporate setting.
No. I told you before we could have done a video on Duo.
Oh, I know. We can still do a video on
We could do
Duo.
a video on all this stuff.
I know. We have there's a lot of stuff on the back burner that we
Mhm.
need to work on.
That's okay.
I understand.
I'm just gonna poke fun at you live on the stream right now.
That's fine.
Okay.
You do that, Mike. You do
I
that.
will.
Feel good about
That
yourself. Brian says, "Is there a way to video chat while having your personal info hidden?" Um, Brian says, like *67 phone calls to block info. Does it show all your info when you join a Zoom call? Is
got
that
me
what
on
you're
that one.
talking about?
Yeah, I don't.
This is why we need to test it out just to see
Mhm.
how it works.
Yeah.
George says here, I listened to a tech podcast last night where a school in the San Francisco area, private, is using Zoom for remote education. Teachers' learning curve was very minimal, working very well for them, which is a great thing. It's obviously a great thing to do a lot of things remote, but I feel like, especially as a child, uh, there's an importance working with people, being in a setting with people. I know this is obviously not the time for it, but I feel like kids growing up, however long this lasts, it's going to have some sort of an impact because, especially as a child, that's when you learn the most. That's when you learn to be
Talk
around
about
people. And
impact. It just occurred to me. Let me just interject real quick. You know what the biggest impact is going to be for these kids? Even at the little kindergarten, if they're doing it at home with the teacher,
yeah,
this is their way of knowing, not a telephone to put to your ear, but
yeah,
a thing going to be this way. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is what they're going to grow up. I grew up when I grew up walking to school and seeing my teacher, physically seeing my teacher, and then, if it was a problem, the teacher or staff would call my folks and say Michael is in trouble or sick or something like that.
yeah.
Today the kids have these to call. Next is going to be, I'm not putting this to my ear. That I want to see them. I want to look at what
I don't even put the phone to my ear anymore. I really don't. When you and I talk, when we have our talk before the show, it's usually with my
I call it now
AirPods
the
on,
staff meeting.
or it's in the car, right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
yeah.
Right.
Mike and I have a weekly tech meeting to
Saturday.
go over the show. Pretty much last minute is how it works. Hey, Mike, what are we doing? Okay, let's do it.
Anyway, but just that you're talking about change. You're talking about, having an impact. This is going to be the impact. This here, and
No, you're right.
and these companies, and we'll be talking about this later. These companies are either getting on the chip and pushing their product or missing out on this opportunity.